In this video, I'm going to be going over some of the different databases you can use for your Architecture 72 class, History of Landscape Architecture. So you need to do a research project that's due towards the end of the semester, and you're going to be analyzing the historical significance and landscape architectural style of a significant landscape work from prehistory to the present. I'll be showing you two different databases, JSTOR and Academic Search Complete, and Noodle Tools, a citation generator for your APA references list. Let's get started. To search JSTOR, start in Canvas and go to the library link from the navigation bar on the left side. From there, scroll down until you see the JSTOR database, and you can see it about halfway down saying JSTOR, Scholarly Journal, Magazines, and Newspaper Articles. We're going to click on that, and now you're in JSTOR. Now, what happens sometimes when you're off campus? Well, actually, this is going to happen all the time. Whenever you want access to an article, you actually need to log in with your single sign-on, as if you're logging onto Canvas. But since you're coming from Canvas, you've already been authenticated, and so now you can do your search without worrying about the system blocking you. So what I'm going to do immediately is go to Advanced Search over here on the right, and you'll see several boxes here. And what I'm going to do in the first one is I'm simply going to type in my garden, which is Versailles. And so on this next box, I'm going to type in landscape or design. Now you could, of course, do a number of different terms here. You could say landscape or garden design, or landscape design. What I'm trying to do is stay as broad as possible, so that I look at my results and then I can determine whether or not I want to narrow them down. And so here I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go ahead and say proceed with the cookies. And I could do a number of different things here, but I'm just going to go ahead and see what happens when I submit my search. Okay, I get 4,800 results there. And so what I'm looking at now are articles that must have the word Versailles in them somewhere. And then they'll also have either the word design or landscape somewhere in there, either one of those two words. And so you will get irrelevant hits for sure. But this is why I like to stay broad and then narrow it down. So this first one, what I can see is that this is an article from the Historic Gardens Review, July 2015. And I can see by this little snippet that it's talking about the gardens at Versailles and the fountains. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that by clicking on the title. And here's your search strategy up here at the top. And then here you've got some information, bibliographic information on the article. Scrolling down, you see here is the full text article on the right. And you can go ahead and scroll up and download it or save it. Now, I recommend downloading these articles to your PC. Saving them, you get this display box. I have not had any luck with logging in with Google or Microsoft, to tell you the truth, because it seems to lose my search. It seems to shut down JSTOR. It's just not ready for prime time yet, so I don't recommend wasting time in here. Plus, it tells me to still log into JSTOR, and you're already logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and close that and then simply download it to my computer. And there it is right there. So let me go ahead and close that, come back here. What I also want to show you is over here on the left navigation bar, it's smart enough to pull out some related text for you. So you might be able to find many of your articles just by looking and scrolling down some of these articles that are here. There's a lot of good stuff here, and so you simply just click on those and go ahead and download them, and that would be that. Now you also have to have an APA references list at the back of your paper that cites all of the sources that you've used. And it's very, very easy to grab those APA citations from JSTOR, just like it is for Academic Search Complete, the other database that I'm showing you for this class. For this database, what you would do is go ahead over here to Cite, and you click on that, and you have the three versions of the different citations. You need the APA citation, but instead of copying it and putting it in your paper, I recommend doing export to Noodle Tools, and I'm going to show you another video later on how to use Noodle Tools, but I have it open right now on my browser, and I have another tab open. And so because I have that tab open and because I have created a project for Architecture 72, when I click on the Cite button there, it tells me this is what it's going to look like. I can change it if I wanted to, if I think it's incorrect. I know it's already going to go to my Arch 72 project in Noodle Tools because I have it selected here and I have it open on my browser. And I'm going to go ahead and import that. I'm going to close this and go back to my search. I've already sent that APA citation over to Noodle Tools. And now I can go back to my results list over here in the upper left, and I can continue searching. We can see that we have 4,800 results, and on the left side navigation bar, I can go even further. I can say, okay, I want to focus this down to specific types of subject categories. So I can see all the subject categories here, and I might want to focus on something specific to gardens and landscape. And so I might go through this, maybe do art and art history, maybe do architecture. I'm not quite sure if I want to do that, but let's see if there's something that's focusing on landscape. And I'm going through this here, and I see something called garden and landscape. As I go further down, I see horticulture. And so now I have 362 results, as opposed to the 5,800 I had earlier. And you see these two I've already retrieved, these first two. Sometimes you will find articles that either are book reviews or are very, very short articles, perhaps just as an overview article. You really have to be careful about these. They might have some interesting things in them. This is a one-page article that you might be able to use, but be careful because some of them are just simply book reviews. And you don't want to use a book review for your project because basically all it is a review of a book. Perhaps, if you really want to see this book, you can search the library's catalog called OneSearch to see if we actually own the book, and then you can borrow it. We have a lot of ebooks, so that could be a possibility for you. But I just wanted to let you know that this is basically talking about when Versailles is open and a little bit of the history right here. So it's really not going to be much for your paper. This one here right away tells me that this is a review of a book, so I'm going to skip that altogether. Here's a letter from the editor. I'm going to skip that. So I really want to look for good stuff. And I might decide that, you know what, my first search was better. Maybe I need to really go back and get rid of all of these filters and look at, remove all filters and look at all of the other things that I had earlier. Now, what I also could do is if I go back to advanced search, I searched Versailles earlier in all fields. So that's going to search it everywhere. What if I did Versailles in the title? And then I searched, for example, landscape or design anywhere in the article. Now, I know there's a field called abstract here, but it's not very good in this particular database. It's only looking at about 25%. Only about 25% of all of the articles in this database have abstracts, so it's really of no use. The item title, though, would be pretty good to use. And then I can come down here and hit Submit Advanced Search. Let's see what this gets us. It should narrow it down a bit, and I only get 38. So they might be right on target, but as someone who's done a lot of searching, 38 is really a small number. Probably would go back and maybe search a couple of different words here if I wasn't coming upon articles that were really good. You can try landscape gardens, landscape design, horticulture, perhaps. Also some words that you have in your textbook. You know, whatever garden that you're going to be researching. You could also search the name of the person who designed the garden, for example. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to search this. I'm just showing you one very, very basic way. Now let's go back and look for images. I'm going to go to Advanced Search again, and I'm going to search Versailles in the title. And I'm going to search, let's see, I'm just going to hit Submit and see what happens. Oh, I'm still in content. So what I have to do is move over to the other tab, Images. And here you see some images of Versailles, indoor and outdoor images. So you'll see a lot of these are indoor. So now what I have to do perhaps is narrow this down and say Versailles landscape or Versailles and garden. Let me try landscape first. And now you're seeing things that are looking more toward what you're trying to find. Here it looks like there's a map of what it looked like, the planning stages. Here are a couple of others, and so these are really interesting as well. So for example, let's take a look at this. It's got that whole, let me see if I can scroll down. You can scroll in and out with your mouse. And I can cite this too. You will also have to cite images in APA format. And so here's an image that I can also cite and export to Noodle Tools. So that's a not too brief overview of JSTOR. Please be sure to watch the review of Academic Search Complete, as well as Noodle Tools. Thanks!